was the approach in practice today? Push the guys pretty hard or pull back a little bit?
Our approach was to get ready for Syracuse, to work on our defense, to get re-familiar with the zone. Obviously, it was a while ago when we played them, and we haven't seen that zone in a while, so just to try to get familiar with that and work on some things with us.
Jeff, what did you guys do so well rebounding the ball in that game, and what's the talk about trying to replicate that?
Yeah, I mean, against the zone, you have opportunities to get offensive rebounds. We have to do a much better job defensive rebounding. I think they had 15 offensive rebounds, so we have to do a much better job there. When we didn't turn it over, we didn't miss a lot of shots up there. We shot the ball pretty well. We have to do a much better job of valuing the basketball, though, because they got a lot of transition points from our turnovers.
Jeff, looking back at that win, I mean, it was so long ago, but that was, I remember you talking about it in the post-game, about how that was the first time you guys were able to get a big stop defensively late in the game. Do you feel like that win was kind of a milestone or a turning point for your team this year?
I don't know about that. I just know it was a big win. We had a big lead, and we played not to lose. And they were super aggressive, and our turnovers got them easy baskets. And then they hit some really tough shots. It was interesting revisiting that after the game the other night. After I watched our game against Georgia Tech, I immediately watched our game against Syracuse from earlier. And we did a lot of really good things, but down the stretch, the crowd got into it, and they were unbelievable. They hit some really tough shots, but we were able to get a stop at the end, make some big free throws, and get another stop on their last possession. So it was big for us. I don't know if it was a turning point, but it was big for us.
How would you say your team has changed since that game, or evolved?
I think we're more confident. I think guys understand what we need to do at a higher level, to be good, to understand when we were at our best what we're doing, to be able to get out of things maybe a little bit quicker if we're not playing well, maybe to get out of it a little bit quicker. I think just some guys are individually are better. Again, it was so long ago when we played them. Normally in the past when we've played them, the back-to-backs have been a little bit quicker. This has been a while, and so I think they're different, and so it'll be a great game.
How much did you focus on the last 13 minutes of that game? We had a big lead and they cut it.
I focused on all of it. I would say probably evenly all the way around. I looked at what we did early that made it, that enabled us to get that lead. I looked at how we defended early. And then when we had the lead, I thought we let up a little bit. We had some opportunities that, maybe could have broke the game, maybe could have broken them, where we had some wide open threes that we missed. But I think the biggest thing during that stretch, the last 12 minutes or so, were the turnovers, the live ball turnovers that we had that just enabled them to get easy shots.
Saturday's a sellout crowd. You've had some games here where there was some hype heading into them, but would you say this is probably the highest anticipated game you've had in your time here?
Probably. I think it's pretty, highly anticipated anytime North Carolina comes here or Duke comes here. But certainly this game and against this opponent, specifically because of the rivalry, from the old Big East, the original Big East. And so there's, there are a lot of layers to that. And so I would probably say yes.
Go ahead, Jeff. Obviously wins are a big factor, but what's the impact to you of this senior class?
It's huge. I mean, these guys have been unbelievable. You take the Fish and Nike, who've been here the longest, and what those guys have endured and been through, Fish being a manager first, and then earning the spot as a walk-on. And, his voice is really important for us, and he's earned that. Everyone knows what an unbelievable teammate he is. And then Nike, what he went through his first year here, having to sit, the first however many games it was, becoming eligible 56 minutes before we played at Miami. And then during that year, the next year, tearing his ACL and sitting out and what he's meant to us and done this year. For Jamarius, being his second year, and what he's endured, what he's gone through, and how he's fought and persevered. And then you got the new seniors, or the graduates, with Nelly and with Greg, and just how, the things that they've, brought to this program, great teammates, winning, positivity, experience, leadership, all of those things. All 5 of those guys, to me, embody all of that, and they've meant a lot to our program.
Emotional day for you?
It probably will be a very emotional day for me. Normally, even when I was a player, it was interesting. Senior nights were always emotional except for mine. And then since I've been a coach, for the most part, they always have been. When you look at what guys mean to your program, what guys mean to you individually as a coach, their belief in you, the relationships, the things you've been through together, and to think that that's the last time at home you'll have a chance to be with them, it's always emotional.
How was your senior night emotional?
We had been through hell as a program. My senior night was more of me personally. I was on a mission to get the program back to where it was when I get there, at least to be trending in that direction. And if we won my senior night, we won the ACC. That's all I was worried about. That's all I was worried about. And we were fortunate to win and be ACC regular season champs. So I was so into that I wasn't worried about me.
Did it get emotional afterwards, after that one?
Not really. Not really. I was so in the moment. I'd been through a lot individually there. Earlier that year, I got booed in Cameron, which stung big time. So I was kind of emotioned out for that. I was really emotional and loved my teammates and the program and things like that. But at that point, I was emotioned out. I was just locked in on, trying to get us trending back. When I got there, we won the ACC my freshman year. It was really important for me, at least to have it going back in that direction.
Do you take anything from how your coach handled that when you were senior day and apply that to how you handled that?
No, not really. I'm not him. I'm me. Coach was always pretty emotional, for senior nights, for some a little bit more because of the relationships and things like that. But I've always handled it my way.
I'm going to tell the guys, you have a lot of seniors for senior night. And it can be emotional, and then they got to get off that and get out there and play. What are you going to tell them?
We got to play the game. Be locked into the game, locked into the moment. Enjoy it, but we got to play a game. And that's the main thing. And, it's something I grabbed those guys after practice today and talked to them a little bit just about that just making sure. It's a lot that goes into it. They have to start getting prepared now, taking care of their tickets and all that stuff right now. These guys will have a lot of family here, a lot of friends. Just get that stuff because, as Coach T says, the main thing has to be the main thing, and the main thing has to be to beat Syracuse.
How do you envision this senior group being remembered for their time at Pitt?
I don't know. I hope that people will look at them as guys that came in that were unbelievable teammates, that fought and persevered, that believed in this place, believed in what they could do to help change it, believed in what we could do, and that we're a big part of that.
Do you see it sinking in a little bit for them? Like, oh my gosh, the time's kind of coming right now.
Yeah, I see it a little bit. These guys have been through a lot. And, this year they've been through a lot. And they've handled it unbelievably well. It shows their character and their toughness about what they've been able to do this year after, especially the guys that have been here. Because they really have been through a lot. And to see it kind of go in a different direction, a more positive direction is pretty cool.
I saw on the ESPN crawl last night that Coach K said he doesn't miss coaching. Were you surprised to hear that?
Absolutely not. No. I just don't. I think when you are, first of all, I think he squeezed everything out, and you just get to a point where I think he misses the game. I think he misses the relationships. I think he misses that part. but I don't think he misses all the BS that comes along with the job now. It's a very different job, and when you've accomplished in your 70s, I don't see how you're still doing this. That's just me, though. I mean, I'm 48. There's no way when I'm that age that I'm doing this. No. So I believe him, and I'm happy for him. I'm really happy. I talked to him yesterday. I mean, he's probably just as busy now, and he's doing things that he enjoys, going to speak, going to see his grandkids play. I think that's cool. For me, my relationship with him, the fact that he's going to high school basketball games, middle school basketball games, going to see his grandson at NYU, I think that's unbelievably cool. I think that's what he and Mrs. K deserve, to be able to do that.
Jeff, what will help you mentally get there? When what will allow for you to reach a point where you're saying, I don't need to coach anymore? Is it championships? Is it what is it?
It's just when you don't. I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet. I would guess first of all, I hope I have the decision where I can make, where you can go. Very few coaches have a chance to walk, to go on their own. Sometimes it's not your choice. If I'm fortunate enough to be in that position, it'll be when I feel, I can't relate anymore, or I don't have the desire to prepare. Like you have to prepare in order to, do this job.
On a few different occasions in here, you've mentioned about getting booed at Cameron and kind of how that impacted you as a senior. And then sort of the flip side, you guys often talk about the energy you get from the zoo, right? The positive energy. How do you advise the players on balancing that? Listen to the good stuff. Don't hear the negative stuff when it's often just as loud.
Yeah, I try to tell them don't listen to any of it. We have to, we know what's going on in our program. And so we don't have to, we shouldn't be, what's the word I'm looking for? We shouldn't allow outside influences to determine our worth and determine how we feel about us, how we feel about ourselves. And that's a delicate balance. Obviously, if it's positive, it's good, then it can give you a jolt, it can give you adrenaline. When it's negative, it can take you in a different direction. And so you have to be able to find a balance there. I've said before, I am so grateful for what I went through as a player. A lot of guys, especially in that program, it's like a fairy tale. Mine wasn't. Mine was hard, because I was blamed for it. And that was very hard at 21 and 22 years old. I'm grateful, though, that one of the things I'm grateful for is that we didn't have social media. There was none of that stuff. Talk radio wasn't that big then. The internet wasn't big, because I can't imagine how it is now. It was, no one talked about mental health back then, in 96, 97. I'm pretty sure I needed it. I got it from family and friends and the assistant coaches and especially teammates. But you got to find a balance, man, and you got to have positive people around you and people to tell you the truth.
Coach, do you think that some of the reason why the talk about Pitt nationally is not there is because you don't have the one go-to guy, you don't have Isaiah Wong, you don't have Amanda Baycott, you have a team who, in any given night, anybody's the top scorer, anybody's the top guy?
Yeah, I'm not sure why. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I've said before, when there's been talk about our league being weak, I don't hear people saying that when they talk about Virginia. I don't think I hear people saying that when they talk about Miami. I've looked at both of those teams' non-conference schedule. I don't think it was a lot, very different than ours. And so I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. I really haven't tried to figure it out much because I can't control it. The thing I can control is trying to get us to be the best that we can day in and day out and take care of things on the court. That's it.
I apologize if this was asked earlier, and I know that you guys have been locked in and trying to focus on the next game throughout the season, but when you see Virginia's loss and how that creates a situation where if you guys do win out, you lock in the 1 seed for the tournament. Is that something that even registers for your team, or are you guys too locked in on Syracuse to even worry about that door being opened?
We haven't talked about it, but we all know it. You know, they know it. I'm pretty sure they've talked about it. I haven't talked about it with them. We as a staff, we've kind of kept the same thing of let's win the day. Let's take care of what's in front of us. This is our next step. You know, today's step was having a good practice and getting prepared for Syracuse, but we are very well aware of that. It's not something that we'll talk to them about, but I'm pretty sure they've had conversations about it.
When you
Earlier-
go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was just gonna say earlier this season, Jamarius missed a couple games with knee inflammation. Has he continued to deal with that over the last couple months?
Yep, he has.
Do you feel like it's slowing him down, or is it wearing
Well,
him
I
down?
think the thing that, you know, not being able to practice, I think that's he hasn't been able to practice a lot, and I think that's, you know, maybe inhibiting him some. Obviously, this time of year, everyone's banged up, everyone's sore, everyone's hurting in some capacity, but he'll be able to push through it.
Going back to Syracuse, the way you guys are playing right now, with the way that they're playing, what are the biggest challenges that they pose to you guys directly?
Well, obviously the zone, their length, their athleticism in it. Those guys up top, especially Mintz, getting steals, you know, and things like that. For them offensively, you know, Gerard, Judah Mintz, Edwards, those guys. I think Bell is playing a lot better from when we played him the first time. We have to rebound the basketball better. You know, so I just think, you know, Judah's not a freshman anymore. He's had an outstanding freshman season. And, you know, one of the big differences, the last 2 games, he's 6 for 6 from 3. That's a little scary because that's something you could kind of slack off of him a little bit. Now with the way he shot the ball in the last 2 games, you have to maybe get up to him a little bit more, and that opens up where he's already terrific as a driver. But they're a really good team. Obviously, they have a very good coach, a Hall of Fame guy, one of the best guys that's ever done it. And they'll come in here loaded for bear. I know that.
Jeff, you talked about you guys' emphasis on defense and needing to get back to that in practice. What have you guys been able to do since Tuesday?
We were off yesterday, so we had practice today. We worked on defense. We watched tape. We watched feedback. We watched a preview of Syracuse. Then we went out there and we got back to some basics defensively. You know, talked a lot, went through some things, you know, tried to get prepared for the zone, our transition defense, those things. And
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, how did the guys respond to
Good. They were very good. They were very good. It was very, very positive.
Nelly, did you have a senior night at Colgate?
Yeah, I did.
What was that like?
I mean, it was a nice emotional experience, you know, get a chance to bring the family out in front of the crowd, get a nice round of applause they deserve, and then went out there and won the game.
Did it feel like senior night, or did you kind of know there was something after this?
No, I didn't. At the time, I didn't know what I was going to do, so it was definitely already like a senior night I had already.
This is senior night in your hometown.
So it's a little different for sure. This one should hit a little different.
How will it be different, though? I mean, you haven't been here very long, but I mean, this is a place you've always wanted to play. So can you just talk about the parallels and the things that are different between those two?
I think the biggest difference for me is going to be that I had, I think, 6 people at my last senior night, and this time it'll feel like thousands. Like I'll have, obviously, my family be there, but I think thousands of people that I really know, genuinely, I've known for a long time, will be here.
Has it struck you that this could be your last game at the Pitt?
Yeah, man. I mean, we've been so locked in and so focused on our opportunities we have in front of us that I haven't thought of it like that yet. But now that it's really here, it is my last game at the Pitt. So,
How are you handling that?
I mean, it is what it is. I'm ready for everything that's coming forward. So I think we've done a lot of good stuff here at the Pitt. So I'm happy that we've made it this far, and I'm looking forward to the game Saturday.
Nelly, how proud are you that you actually have things to look forward to? I mean, past Pitt teams, there wasn't much to look forward to after the ACC tournament.
Yeah, I'm really happy about it. I mean, I'm used to it, but I mean, I'm really excited about us being in the situation that we're in.
Nelly, you said at the beginning of the year you wanted to bring the soul back to Pitt basketball. Do you feel you've accomplished that?
We're not done yet, but I think where we're at so far, it's looking like that. We got a lot of work to do still, but for sure, the outlook's looking pretty good.
Jeff told us that, you know, you guys didn't necessarily talk about it as a whole group, but when Virginia loses, that opens the door for you guys. If you guys win out, you get the top seed in the ACC. Is that something that registered on your mind coming into work today, or is that something that you guys talked about with the team at all?
Yeah, I mean, I watched the game, so I mean, it definitely registered in my mind. We're in a great position for everything we ever wanted. So I think we continue to handle things day by day, and we're going to be in a great position come March 4th.
Nelly, how do you want this senior class to be remembered?
Champions.
Senior day, you got a unique challenge because you got to face the zone, and so it's a different game plan. Like, how you feel going into that?
Yeah, I feel good. I think we're really locked in, really focused. Like you said, it's a different game plan, but all year it's been different game plans every game, and we're just really good at adapting to whatever we got in front of us.
Looking at Syracuse, obviously their zone is a big part of the challenge that they pose, but what are some of the other challenges when you look at the way they're playing, the way you guys are playing, that you guys have to step up to?
I think the biggest challenge is desperation. I think at this time of the year, every team is in different situations, and they're a desperate team, and so we have to come out and play with that same level of desperation or more.
Really, what went well in that first matchup? What allowed you guys to have this success, especially offensively, in that first game?
I think we shared the ball well. We found the holes in the zone, and we really made shots. I think that's what you got to do against Syracuse. You got to make shots.
Nelly, how's this team different? How's your team different since that first win over Syracuse?
I think we've battled a lot of adversity since then. I think that game had its own adversity, and ever since then we continued to battle adversity. So I think we're more battle tested than we were then.
Now, the coach said after the Georgia Tech game that he was going to challenge you guys to be a little bit more intense defensively. Did you pick up on that in practice?
For sure.
What made you say that? Like, what made you pick up on that?
I think just the intensity. I think he was really locked in today, really focused on making sure we were attentive to details today and all the little things defensively, and I think it's going to show when we get out there and play.
You've been in college basketball for a long time. You've seen a lot of different groups of guys come together each season. I don't want to say, how surprised are you, but I mean, what do you make of just how well this group came together? So many different guys coming in, playing together for the first time to mesh like you guys did.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us is that it was genuine. It wasn't fake. We didn't have to try to fake like each other. We all actually do enjoy each other, and I think when you actually have that real, genuine love, then it's going to show on the basketball court, Times when the ball is loose, we're all going to die for it. We all got each other's backs, and we're going to ride for each other.
When did you notice that genuine love? When was there a point in the season or even in the preseason where you're like, wow, we actually really like each other?
I think really we bonded on adversity. I think when we hit adversity early in the season, 1-3, we all had to come back and take a look in the mirror, and I think we all did that together, and we really grew from that moment.
Nelly, it's not a group where you've been together for 4 or 5 years. What do those other seniors mean to you?
They mean the world to me, man. I mean, in this short time, they're my brothers for life now. Like, I think like I said, we bonded around a lot of adversity, a lot of other things. So it really we're really like brothers, like real brothers. So it's going to mean a lot for us to all walk across the court for one last time and really give it our all together one last time here.
Nelly, managers on a basketball team do a lot for a team. You've seen it 5 seasons now. How have you been personally impacted by a manager, whether that's here or at Colgate?
Yeah, I would say here, man, I don't want to get into names because I'd have to name them all because they all have such a great impact on our program and me. But I think every one of them, they come out there every single day. Like, they don't get the same the publicity that I would get, but they're doing the same hard work that I'm doing. They're working really hard to get rebounds. They're working really hard every single day, and I think their intensity means the world to us.
You guys, you, Jamarius, a lot of the older guys that came here, you guys often talk about how, like, we've been here before, we've been in these moments before where it's been crunch time of the season. What have you seen from some of the young guys who haven't been here before? How have they responded to when you guys have pushed them, especially in the past week or so?
Like you got to say, they responded well. I mean, the biggest thing I think around this time of the year is attention to detail. Everybody's banged up, everybody's tired, everybody's ready for the next steps, but right now it's like we've completed 85%. The last 15% is always the hardest part. So I think those guys have been really focused and locked in, and that's all it's going to take around this time of the year.
You started playing basketball around this city as a kid. What impact do you want to leave, not only on this school, but on the city of Pittsburgh's basketball scene?
I think I want to bring back the winning. It felt good to, when I was growing up, to see the guys winning and everybody feeling like they were a part of it. And I think this year something that we brought back is just everybody feeling like they're a part of it again. And I want to definitely leave that impact here.
What's it mean to you when, former Pitt players are at these games and they come in the locker room and say how proud they are of this group? What's that mean to you as a guy who grew up rooting for them?
It means a lot. I think it's just a testament to the work we put in, We worked really hard for this, so I think those guys coming back showing love just means a lot to all of us.
Nelly, talk about the selflessness of this team. It seems like any given night somebody else is the high scorer.
Yeah, I think that goes back to us really liking each other. When it's genuine, nobody really cares about who gets the success for the night. It's all really about Pitt winning. So I think because we actually like each other, it makes it so much easier to just be selfless.
You're talking about the former players. I mean, were you like little kid here, like watching like DeJuan Blair and Mike Young when those guys?
Yeah, I was in the mix. I was really literally in the gym with him, passing the ball back and forth to him. I was in the drills with him. Like I got some stories. I gave Sam Young a bucket when I was really young, so I got a lot of good stories like that. So I was around for sure.
What's wrong with Mike Young? I'm not that old.
Got my Youngs mixed up. Sorry.
Nelly, when you were little, Pitt played in a different conference, but they still had Syracuse. Does it have the juice? Like, does that bring back memories too when you see Orange on the other side?
Yeah, I mean, it's actually unique for me because at Colgate it's kind of like a rivalry with Syracuse as well. So coming back here, I didn't know that it was this big of a rivalry, but we sold out the crowd already. So I think the fans and everybody else knows what we know, that this is a really important game.
How old were you when you were interacting with these guys?
My first AAU practice ever, I was in, I think, 3rd grade. So from that point forth, I had been in. It was in the back gym here. So I had been in here since then, really.
Nelly, after the game, the Georgia Tech game, there was talk about how I think you guys the majority of your starters are older than like the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Mm-hmm.
Is that kind of like funny for you guys? What kind of effect does that have when you're just like, okay, whatever, yeah, we're a little bit older here?
Yeah, that's kind of funny to us because like I think anybody who really understands the COVID situation realizes why we're a little older. So I think it's kind of just funny for all of us to laugh about.
You think you could take the Thunder?
That's not the conversation, but I never back down from a challenge, though.
How much do you guys focus on the last this past, I guess today at practice, the last 13 minutes of this last Syracuse game?
Of the last time we played them, how much did we focus? A lot. I mean, that's pretty much all of the good they did in that game was right there in that last little bit. So that means a lot, and trying to make that not happen again would be awesome.
What can you do to prevent that?
Be smarter with our decisions. Very controllable things. Just be smarter with the ball. Limit turnovers.
Like conversely, the first 27 minutes, what did you guys do so well to have that success against it?
Play like Pitt. We didn't do anything necessarily special. We stuck to the game plan, and we took care of the ball.
Do you think there's a big difference between the team that you were on that night versus the team that you are now?
We know each other better for sure, but no.
When you look back to that game, I mean, you had the big steal at the end there. That was the first time you guys were able to really get a big stop when you needed it this season. Do you think that was kind of like a milestone moment for this group, like your first close victory?
Yeah, it was. Every one of these wins are hard fought, and you're never gonna forget none of these wins. So yeah, it's definitely something we won't forget.
You're a crowd guy. You have a full house on Saturday. You looking forward to that?
Yeah, super excited about that. It's always great to have a packed home crowd.
Like 5 of your teammates are going to get senior night. What does that group you think mean to this program?
Everything. I mean, they mean everything they did. You see it yourself. I don't really have to say it. You've seen it all year from all of our seniors. They put it on the line, and they're going to put it on the line on Saturday.
You put a bunch of guys together, playing together for the first time. Sometimes it'll mesh and sometimes it won't. What do you think has made this team and this group mesh as well as it has?
The will to win and do something special, something different. I don't want to say different. Different's a bad word, but just do something special pertaining to winning. And I think everybody's been on the same exact wavelength as far as that feeling. And I think that's what's made us mesh, although we're new.
You just said about being on the same wavelength. I feel like your coach has mentioned things along that line a bunch of times this year. How unique is that? You've been on a couple of different teams. How unique is it to have really everybody focused on that same goal?
It's unique. It's unique. I wouldn't say it's unique, but what it is something that's in common with all teams in college basketball that win. All teams in college basketball that win, 90% of those teams are on the same wavelength and on the same page all the time. So that's what that is.
Were you guys determined to reverse what had happened here before you got here this season, to turn things around?
And to be 1,000% honest with you, I've heard a lot about what has happened. I have no idea what has happened. I never did any research on it. I never did any digging back or anything. I've heard, a little bit. I don't even understand the last couple years for this program. I really don't. I've never looked into it.
Jeff Capel told us that he was going to make sure there was more emphasis on defense and going back to the basics for you guys. How did you feel about how you took on that practice and how the team took on the challenge of what he was trying to get through to you guys?
Yeah, do it with energy, do it with passion, and treat it like this is the last couple games, which it is. So there's two ways you can look at that. This could be the last couple games and just try to fight through it, or you should run through it, run through the finish line. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to take it on head on, embrace all these moments.
How do you feel about playing against zone? Do you prefer man? Are you okay with zone? Does it not matter to you?
I love playing basketball. Hey, it doesn't matter what's going on.
When you look at the way that you guys are playing right now and the way that Syracuse is playing, what's the biggest challenge that they pose to you guys in your mind?
I don't know. I would have to look at, some recent film. I don't really know about anything though.
Do you think you'll get emotional on the game with saying bye to not bye to the seniors, but them being honored?
I get emotional every game, so probably, but probably.
It got a little chippy the last time you guys played Syracuse. That's something that you guys keep in mind or talk about leading into games. Like, hey, let's watch for those type of moments and to control that.
To be totally honest, I don't remember it getting chippy. When did it get chippy?
Wasn't there a time during the game when, I think, late in the game, it was by a sideline on a loose ball where there was some push. I didn't get crazy. It was just there were some guys being passionate in the moment.
Maybe I swear I really don't remember.
That. That Syracuse game, I believe, was the first time John kind of sat out, and Fetty really took over as the primary big man option. How have you seen him grow since that first game?
Yeah, he's still growing. So, I really can't give you an answer on Fetty's growth until it's done, you know what I mean? But he's still growing in front of our eyes, and he's been doing a great job.
What's it been like to watch him go through that growth? You guys came here together on the same visit, right?
Yeah.
So what's it been like to see him, take these steps and take on such a bigger role and make this progress?
Super happy for him. That's all I can really be. Just like I said, just like I treat everybody else. It's great, but once you show us that, now we're gonna hold you to that standard. So we're trying to push him past whatever levels he think he has or whatever ceiling we've seen. We're trying to push him past it.